He looks like he owns credit. Oh my gosh. Man like Arthur from Batman.
Namaste, dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, hola. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10, broadcasting to you live from our offices here in Southwest 16 Norbury. It's a Zone 3 commuter area. If you don't know it and you're thinking of investing or you're thinking of moving, then you should check us out. We have plenty of property available, not as much as I'd like, actually, to be fair. But what I must say is thank you very much to all of those clients that chose to select James Alexander to give a valuation over the next couple of days. I am absolutely, my diary is absolutely chock with valuation. So thank you, guys. You will not regret it. And obviously, there's no obligation attached, but we love talking property. And it's just great to get out there in the field, talking to people about their plans and aspirations and how we can help move them along. So excited about that. Really, really busy for the next 3 days, literally, absolutely chock a diary. So that's great news. On some not so nice news, lenders are pulling rates. About 10% of mortgage lenders are pulling rates at the moment. It's about 800 deals have gone already. And this is because the expectation for interest rate rises has gone from neutral to likely. It seems that because inflation's been so stubborn, particularly food inflation, expectations are that interest rates will rise. And this has affected what they call the swap rates or the longer term rates, where they were anticipating that we were probably looking at level or falling. Now they're looking at potentially another 1% on rates, and that will probably come over a few months in terms of MPC meetings. It would coincide with 0.25% rises. That's normally what happens. So not such great news. But overall, it's only 1%. I say only. I know it's tough, really tough for a lot of people out there. And on that note, the housing crisis has now officially reached a tipping point, according to an article today in the Eye. And they're saying that new polling shows that affordable housing is one of the most pressing social issues in the UK, with 69% of homeowners agreeing as well. Only 21% believe the government's doing enough to combat the housing crisis. Well, we've said for a long time now that penalising landlords and alienating landlords is one of the worst things you can do when you've got a housing crisis, because it exacerbates it. And that's what's happening at the moment. Landlords are getting penalised in so many different ways, both in terms of tax, particularly Section 24, of course, interest rates, and seeing further rises coming down the horizon, and the Renters Reform Act, and the EPC requirement for Grade C coming up in 2028/9. So lots of reasons why it's a bit tough out there for landlords. Having said that, the market's been quite busy generally with families looking to move. And, you know, there are always the three Ds, as we've spoken about many times, debt, death and divorce, which bring instructions to the market. And it's sad. I know all those things are very sad, but in the end, they're the biggest supplier of property right now. Outside of that, we're finding a lot of people are just a bit nervous about the market, which is understandable. But remember, if you have equity, the move can be largely neutral. What I mean by that is, if you're sitting on a house that's worth 500, but actually your mortgage is 100, you're porting that 400,000 to a new property, perhaps a new area, then it's neutral, isn't it? If the property market has fallen or is not rising as much as you would like, then providing you can take that pot of money and buy something else similar in another area, then that should be fairly equal. Certainly we're finding that price rises now, where they were rampant in the Midlands and up north. That's no longer the case. They're now static. And the same as here in London, we're finding that house prices have picked up, certainly. And it's type and style of property that people are buying has changed. It's nice to see flats come back into fashion, as it were, largely on the back of many people that are currently renting, looking at the crazy prices we're having to charge for rent because there's no supply, and saying, well, at that rate, I might as well buy. So there's a real kind of flip around in the way that the market is operating right now. And it's really on the back of a lack of supply. So the housing crisis, I don't have an instant answer for that. But I think one of the things you should do when you rely on the private landlord for so much of the rental stock is make sure that those people stay in the field and don't go off. And they should be incentivized, in my view, to keep in the sector. And Section 24 took away the one benefit they had with interest rates. And that's been, in my view, the single biggest catalyst in landlords moving away from the market. But then if you put that on top of rising interest rates, for a lot of landlords, they've just had enough and they're out. And that's why we've seen more in the way of supply of flats coming to the market than housing. But first-time buyers are out there. There are still first-time buyers out there looking, as I've said, and that's for reasons of the huge amount of the average rent in all London boroughs right now. It's just nuts out there. So in terms of weather here in Norbury, it's kind of overcast at the moment and a little bit cold. Very frustrating when you think it's the last day of May. You kind of think it's going to get sunny. Hay fever's kicked in as well as yours. just started to take the meds for the first time. I'm like, yeah, I better get a bit of that Beckinase going because otherwise I end up just a sniveling wreck. So I hope you have a great day today. We'll be back same time tomorrow with another edition. Until then, look after yourselves and if you can, your family and friends. Ciao.